takes these fuels and gases to your home's final distribution. And then other pipelines are, they are there to carry refrigerants, they are there to carry water and other chemicals. Long distance pipelines, they are there to carry other industrial gases, transportation of industrial gases inside a plant or from one place to another place. They even carry slurry or wastewater. Then there are process and power pipings. So power pipings are used uh, in a power plant where they are generally carrying the steams and hot waters, hot liquids. And then process piping are generally used in the process industry, which may carry water, effluents, chemicals, compressed air, and these sort of things. So we have already been able to answer the what of it. So we have already been able to answer the what of it. Now let me come to the why of it. Why have we chosen to talk on this? What's the reason? Okay, well, I'm sure you must have been able to understand the what of it. What of it? Now I'm here to do the why of it.
Is because it has a lot of challenges. It throws a lot of challenges in basically fabrication of these sort of vessels. So there are a lot of challenges. The challenges are in terms of material, in terms of application, the losses, the failure, which can it cost, and the skilling. Talking about the material, the you, as we move on, the new sort of applications are coming on, and in order to meet those challenging applications, engineering applications, and the needs, there are new materials which the metallurgists are developing day by day. And in order to basically fabricate those materials, those new age materials, the welding industry has to struggle a lot, because until unless we cannot weld that material, it cannot be used for any engineering purpose. A good example of that will be our thermal power plants. Very critical application. There is a huge demand of power, and which has led to evolving of new and new type of material, which has got higher creep strengths and higher life, better life, and that uh, they can carry the fluids, maybe the steam or the gases at higher temperatures from one place to another inside a thermal power plant. And that has led to the evolution of a new type of material, very different type of materials with a lot of alloying elements such as chrome and molybdenum. And certainly the materials have been developed, but then to fabricate them, to weld them is a real challenge, is a real nightmare. And a lot of attention has to be paid in order to weld those sort of materials. Then apart from that, the sort of application which I was talking about, there are certain applications which are very strictly governed by regulations and standards, such as the nuclear application. I showed you a nuclear vessel being fabricated and being commissioned. And in order to fabricate that vessel, there's a huge amount of standards one needs to follow, various types of standards, not only national but international standards. Because if those are not met, so you cannot commission that unit. So application again has throws a very grave challenges. Then we have the failures. If we are not able to follow those regulations, if we are not able to do it properly, the way it is mandated, then certainly it may fail. And if it fails, it does not only leads to material loss or energy loss, but then there is a loss to life also can happen. It can be catastrophic, it can be devastating. Okay, I'm not talking about the nuclear reactors. Obviously, if a nuclear reactor fails, there can be another Chernobyl happening. But then, even if you can imagine, even if a LPG cylinder fails in your home, so what can happen? Okay, so so the losses are tremendous, and that's actually is a very serious challenge put on the fabricators. And then yes, in the last but not of course the least, skill requirement. Skill is something which is of tremendous importance when we come to the fabrication of these pressure vessels and pipelines, because as you might have seen that a lot of circumferential welds have to be done in 5G and 6G positions. And those who of you who are from the welding fraternity, you must be able to realize, especially the welder fraternity, you must be able to appreciate the basic fact that how challenging and how tough it is to weld in 5G and 6G positions, and that too for the applications which I was showing you, which has lot of regulations, which has lot of guidelines, which have lot of inspections and things like that. So skilling is one of the biggest challenge as well as requirement of fabrication of pressure vessels and pipelines. Now I'm sure this figure might be might surprise you, or rather but then believe me, I have not put this picture just to tell you to frighten you out, but it is there just to make you aware of that what happens if we are not able to follow those guidelines, if we are not able to do the job correctly. It can, this is what can happen. You can see, I don't need to elaborate it. So it can fail, and failing means, you see, anything can happen, big accidents, small accidents will happen. But then yes friends, there is nothing to worry about with this. We have to be cautious enough to do it in the right way. There are processes, procedures available with us to do it correctly, so that we can avoid these failures, and we can do it in the right indented way, and so that these vessels and pipelines can serve the purpose which they are intended to serve. So from here on friends, uh, may I now invite my colleague Mr. Vivek to take on from here, and he will be basically getting into how this is done, how those challenges are faced, how those challenges are met, how it is done, and he will be able to tell you that what are the precautions which we should take in order to avoid those sort of failures. So with this, may I request Vivek to take over. Vivek, please.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you, sir. Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. So, I am Vivek, and I will tell you about welding processes used in pressure vessel and pipelines. So, here we are commonly known with some of welding processes that is used for welding in pressure vessel and pipelines. So, the some traditional processes which is majorly used are SMAW, that is shielded metal arc welding, GTAW, gas tungsten arc welding, commonly known as also known as TIG, and after that GMAW, that is gas metal arc welding, and after that SAW, which is submerged arc welding, and we are also using combinations of some hybrid processes. So these are some basic classifications of welding, and after that the main criteria is to how to select welding processes for pressure vessel and pipelines. So here we are seeing some important considerations which are kept in mind during fabrication. So these are materials, joint configuration, metallurgical property, welding position, and productivity. In material, so there are varieties of materials like carbon steel, low alloy steel, high alloy steel, stainless steel, aluminum, and copper alloys. So different materials are used for welding pressure vessel and pipelines. So it is kept in mind that which type of material we are going to weld. After that, coming to joint configuration, then this is also a major challenging part, because in a vessel and pipelines, we are dealing with very low thickness also and higher thickness also. So accordingly, we have to select welding processes so that we can overcome welding defects such as distortion and other welding defects. So talking about some critical welding, so in pressure vessel tube to tube seat welding is very critical because we are talking about tube which is about 1 mm to 2 mm thickness, and tube seat is around 100 150 mm thickness. So it is a challenging task to weld low thickness with high thickness. And after that, cell to nozzle welding and cladding. So accordingly, different welding processes are going to be used for this joint configuration. Talking about some metallurgical consideration in welding, so we are talking about thermal conductivity, distortion, hot cracking problems, and toughness requirement as per code and client requirement. So keeping on this mind above thing, we have to select welding processes. And after that, we are talking about welding positions. So talking about pressure vessels, so it is a large vessel and it is not always possible to weld in flat positions during welding. So number of welding positions come during welding, like horizontal position 2G, vertical 3G, overhead 4G, 5G and 6G. So according to positions, we have to select welding processes. And after that, we considered productivity also, because during welding, three major passes considered for to weld any vessel and pipelines. So first one is root pass. So for root pass welding, we have to select some manual process or automatic process. We can also select. And after that, fill up and capping passes and final run. So to complete all these passes, so we have to select single welding processes or multiple welding processes depending upon thickness and requirement of welding. After that, we are also mechanized automatic special purpose machine to weld the pressure vessel and pipelines. So this will definitely helps to improve the productivity of industry. So we are talking about some advancement in welding processes. So here we are seeing that in GTW we have variants of hot wire TIG, activated TIG, cold wire TIG, and orbital TIG. So by using this technology, we can improve the productivity of pressure vessel and pipelines. Similarly, we are talking about GMAW variants. Then we have number of variants like surface tension transfer, cold metal transfer, time twin technology, narrow groove welding, flux core arc welding, and metal core arc welding. Talking about submerged arc welding, so we have two variants. One is tandem submerged arc welding, and another is 2G SAW. So after that, talking about some hybrid processes, so we have available hybrid processes like plasma TIG, plasma MIG, and laser MIG welding. Okay, so talking about activated TIG welding. So generally, we all know about GTAW process, but here ATIG process is activated TIG process, which involve a method of increasing the penetration capability of the arc in TIG welding. Here in figure, we can see that in left side that is TIG welding and right side ATIG welding is going on. So the overall penetration of ATIG is higher. Here in figure we are seeing that complete root penetration is coming with activated TIG, but with TIG welding there is lack of fusion. So by using activated TIG process, one can weld up to 12 mm thickness in stainless steel in single pass weld. So this is the very great achievement of TIG processes, and this can be used in varieties of materials like stainless steel, carbon steel, and alloy steel. Some of advantage is that we not need to preparation any groove for this, so it can be welded on square butt joint, need not any preparation, and also the overall reduced distortion than multi-pass GTAW welded joint by using this activated TIG. So just here we have to only make a thin coating of activated flux material over the workpiece before welding. So going to next welding processes, this is hot wire tick process. So hot wire tick process is a further development of GTAW process. So here in figure, we are seeing that a additional filler wire is provided, which is resistant heated and added to the weld puddle behind the tungsten. So it can be mechanized and automated for welding and cladding application. So in figure we are seeing that a sort of wire is coming from wire spool, and 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 GTAW torch is used for making arcs. So it completes the welding by using mechanization, and this process having higher deposition rate. When we are seeing comparing with this simple cold wire TIG and hot wire TIG, so here we are seeing that hot wire TIG is associated with higher deposition rate. So this is generally used for welding of stainless steel grades, duplex steel, high nickel alloy steels. Well, this process is not suited for out of position welding, so it is generally welded in 1G position. After that, coming to next welding processes, this is keyhole TIG. So keyhole TIG provide us a single pass keyhole welding in a material. So by using this K-TIG process, one can weld up to 16 mm thickness at higher welding speed. So we can attain higher welding speed up to 1000 mm per minute. And also here we are seeing that this process not require any butt preparation joint. So it can weld in square butt preparation and also reduced overall welding cost. So by using K-TIG, we can weld longitudinal seams and circumferential joint over stainless steel vessels, duplex stainless steel, titanium steels, etc. After that, moving to next, we are seeing orbital TIG process. So this orbital TIG process is majorly used on pipe to pipe welding and tube to tube sheet welding in pressure vessel. So here we are seeing that uh, the welding where the arc is rotated mechanically through 360-degree around the static workpiece. So workpiece is stationary and arc is rotating around 360-degree with the help of welding heads. So here welding around the pipe and resolve the skill associated with highly skilled as in manual TIG welding process need. So by using the orbital TIG, we can easily weld at higher speed. So here uniform welding around the pipe can weld up to 162 mm dia and thickness of 3.5 mm. So large dia can also be used for welding by accommodating with open style welding head. After that, coming to the variants of GMAW. So first one is STT. So this is surface tension transfer. So in surface tension transfer, we are seeing that this welding process is used to weld root run in pipe welding. Generally, when we are talking about root run welding, so it takes lot of time because welder need skill to fill the root run welding. So this process by using surface tension transfer, one can increase the productivity 4 times faster than GTAW process with low heat input and lack of fusion. So here in surface tension transfer, we are seeing that it using short circuit transfer. So the wire is fed to the puddle. The wire touches in this figure. We are seeing that the wire touches the puddle, causing the short circuit and voltage drop to zero. And this is namely by the way of technology monitor and control the surface tension of the weld droplet as it adheres the weld pedal. So this welding is very commonly used in pipelines for root run welding. After that, talking about cold metal transfer, this is very well commonly used for many industrial applications for low thickness. So by using cold metal transfer, we can use up to 3 mm thickness without distortion and at very low heat input. So cold metal transfer, here we are seeing that the welding power source is connected to robotic system. So what make it different from conventional GMAW process? So we can see it by this figure. So when we talking about conventional MIG, so in conventional MIG there is only one direction, forward feeding direction of wire is there. But talking about CMT, here in left figure we are seeing that wire is moving both in forward direction and reverse direction. So this makes it different from conventional MIG welding. So CMT provide controlled method of material deposition at low heat input by incorporating innovative wire feed system at high distance speed control. So this can be welded for automotive application, aircraft application, thin sheets welding, and dissimilar joints of aluminum and steels, etc. After that, moving to next process. So here we have tandem GMAW. So basically, this is a Fronius based technology and use twin wire to allow. So by using this, we can get at least twice fast compared to the standard GMAW process. So this process incorporates microprocessor controlled TPS power source through which we can improve the productivity. So here two separate wire electrode is used for higher deposition to different power source uses, and also this reduce the overall arc pressure on trial and increase the uh, penetration in the base metal. So here we are talking about narrow groove welding. So narrow groove welding is also a variant of GMAW, which is used for low metal deposition requirement, and 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 small included angle. It includes between 2 to 20 degree. Here just we are seeing when we comparing with single V groove. So here we see that very large weld metal requires. But when talking about this narrow groove welding, here we can see that very low weld metal is required to complete the weld. So the major advantage is that overall we get more economic weld, and it offer better economy for welding of thick materials when we talk about the material thickness above 50 mm. So it leads to low distortions and fast welding also. But one sometime major problem is there, that we can get here at side wall fusion, side lack of fusion at side wall. So this is some critical issue, but overall this process is very good for higher productivity and increase the economy of any welding system. And after that, here we will talk about tandem SAW. So in tandem SAW, we are using these two wires, like as we have seen in GMAW technology. So here two wire system is used. So by using this, we can achieve higher deposition rate up to around 40 kg per hour. So here this process is majorly used for longitudinal seams and circumferential seams of vessels. So here we are seeing that we are using two power sources. One is DC and another is AC power source. So this is combinedly used to overcome problem of arc below, which is generally associated with DC welding. So the major advantage with this process is higher deposition rate and especially economy for when we are talking about the larger production of vessels in large number. And here just we will see some examples of pics of this tandem SAW. Here we are seeing that the flux hooper system for providing flux, and the twin wire system of SAW is going on. And similarly, by talking about tandem SAW, we also talk about this 2G SAW. Generally, SAW is welded in flat positions, but it can be welded in 2G position by using some additional arrangements of flux providing. So circumferential weld is also possible, and longitudinal weld is can be welded by using these processes. So after that, we will talking about this laser MIG welding, hybrid processes welding. So laser MIG welding is very popular in welding of various non-ferrous materials. Talking about this, so laser beam hits on the surface of base metal to form a keyhole. So there we get combination of both high welding speed and concentrated energy of laser efficiency combined with MIG arc welding. So overall the productivity and higher welding speed is the good achievement of hybrid processes. So similarly, we can also weld with hybrid process by plasma TIG and by using plasma MIG process, which need not need any groove preparation up to 12 thickness, and we can easily weld without making groove preparation. And but the main challenging with these processes that these process need very good setup during before welding. If setup will be not proper, then there will be chances of burn through. So these are some important consideration which shall be kept in mind before welding. So now the time for a quiz. So here we have some questions for you. So first one is, which of the following process has highest deposition rate? A. GMAW CMT, B. GMAW tandem, C. GMAW STT, and D. GMAW standard. So here answer is B, that is GMAW tandem, because of twin wire, a higher deposition rate we can get from this welding. Coming to next question, STT welding is based on A. Short circuit transfer, B. Globular transfer, C. Spray transfer, D. Pulse transfer. So answer is A. Short circuit transfer. Coming to next question. So a suitable gas mixture for GMAW for aluminum is A. 100% CO2, B. 100% argon, C. 80% argon plus 20% CO2, D. 98% argon plus 2% oxygen. So answer for this is B, that is 100% argon. Okay, now we will come to welding. After welding processes, we will come to welding automation. So talking about welding automation, here the automation widely used in pressure vessel and piping industries to increase the overall productivity. So here for welding automation, it use robots, column and boom system, roller SPM, and rotator. So here we are seeing that some automation system used for welding pressure vessel. So here we are seeing that there is a narrow gap SAW, which is used in column and boom system. This can be weld suck seam welding and long seam welding. Similarly, here for this pipe welding, we have another automation system, that is cladding system, which can be welded by robotic technology. And after that talking about the cladding system, so there is also a mechanization and automation system. Similarly, for welding a complete vessel, today there is many numbers of automation systems available to weld these joints. So by using this automation system, we can increase the productivity and overall welding quality performance for welding. So talking about the robotics, so here we can see that a robot is used in welding of these long seams and pipes. So long seam welding is going on in this figure. We are seeing that with the help of robotic welding. So robotic welding are very precise, move smoothly at considerable speed through a programmable path. So it can be also weld some critical application like pipe to weldolet joint, some sort of nozzle cutout welding. By using programmable path, we can easily weld with robotic welding processes, and we can mechanized GMAW and GTAW process with this by using robotic welding. And also here one good trick you can see that here SMAW process is also welding with robotic system, but it is not feasible for actual production because due to its continuous changing of electrode after every path. But it is most widely used with GMAW technology and GTAW technology. After that, moving to next column and boom system, here in a pic, you can see that for welding a long seam of pressure vessel, a column and boom system is used. So here we are seeing that in pic that in boom system the welding machine and the welding setup is mounted. So as per the size of this vessel and piping, we can move it to and from motion accordingly to adjust the welding requirement. So it can weld from uh, small pipelines to large vessels during welding. So major advantage is that the overall productivity is increasing by using column and boom system, and after that the flexibility is there, that is from smaller to larger dia we can cover with column and boom system. After that, talking about some roller SPM, so here we are seeing that a pipe is mounted over the roller and roller is moving, and we are seeing that welding torch is mounted in only 1G position and the complete welding is going on. Similarly, this can be used for pressure vessel also. So some of feature of this rollers are high load capacity, excellent durability, and it can weld up to 2 inch to 48-inch pipe over this roller SPM. Talking about rotator, so here in rotator we can see that various dia of pipes can be welded in 1G position. As here we can see that we can also use manually by using rotator. So all these rotator facilitate the overall productivity of welding. So it can be used for various pipelines, nozzle cutouts, welding. After that, talking about cladding, so welding we will some talks about cladding. So here cladding, it is a technique to weld dissimilar metal, that is we are talking about over carbon steel we have to lay stainless steel or nickel based alloy, so we can use for corrosion resistance. So here in figure we are seeing that some hot wire TIG is used for cladding applications. Similarly, we can use GTAW technology, and after that some electro slag strip cladding, that is used in high dia pressure vessel to weld to cladding the vessel. Similarly, we have one quiz for you. So here, which one of the following delivers lowest heat input during welding? So the option are GMAW CMT, GMAW tandem, GMAW STT, and GMAW standard. So here, correct answer is A, that is GMAW CMT. And now just we will look over the code and standard used for pressure vessel and pipelines. So here we are talking about pressure vessels code and standard. So mostly in industry, American Society of ASME codes are very popular in pressure vessel. So for pressure vessel, ASME section 8, division 1, 2, 3 are used to weld pressure vessels. And after that, similarly for different country, Canada, there is different standard CSA V51, and talking about Germany, there is AD standard, and after that for British standard there is BS 5500. After that there is EN standard for using pressure vessel, Japanese standard, and definitely for Indian standard also there is IS 2825 12 pressure vessels. So after that we are talking about some codes for pipeline. So generally for power piping, B31.1 is very common and used for power piping. This is SME standard. And talking about process piping, this use B31.3. And after that, similarly, we have refrigeration piping also that use B31.5, and gas transmission and distribution piping includes B31.8. So these are the different ASME code for pressure piping. Similarly, we can weld by different codes and standard for pressure vessel and piping. Talking about some API codes, so so here we are seeing that API 510 used for recommended practice for sizing, selection in vessel, relieving devices in refineries. Similarly, 65 API 650 used for welded tanks for oil storage. And similarly, API 560 used for fire heater for general refinery services. So basically, this code is generally uses while maintenance of pressure vessels, overhauling of pressure vessels, and looking the safety requirements. All these code are used for different applications. Okay, now we will talk about some WPS, PQR and WPQ qualification. So this term is very well known to welding industry. Every welding engineer have to make WPS, PQR and WPQ. So this is a very vast field, but I will just cover the introductory level of this so that you might be understand about the significance of these terms. So so here we are first talking about WPS. So WPS is welding procedure specification. So talking about WPS, so here we see that the WPS is a written document that provide directions for person to applying the joining processes. That means by using WPS, a person come to know that what type of joint he have to weld, what type of base metal he have to weld, filler metal requirements, welding positions, preheat, TWST, shielding gases, welding parameters, and welding techniques. All the things is given in WPS. So by using, one can know that how we have to proceed a joint. And talking about PQR, so PQR is procedure qualification record. So it is used to demonstrate that joining process proposed for construction is capable of producing joint having the requirement of mechanical property for intended application. That means here we are testing the base metal for its applicability for intended applications. So by using PQR, uh, PQR, one can actually documented the testing results of actual value, essential value, and uh, other requirements. So talking about WPQ, this WPQ is known as welder performance qualification. It is used to demonstrate the ability of welder to produce sound joint by using WPS. So WPQ is for welder, WPS is for welder to make a joint so that he can follow the instructions to weld particular joint. Suppose in a vessel there is suction joint, it is 10 thickness. Then a welder come to know that what welding current he have to use, in which position he can weld the vessels, what type of filler he can use. So all these details will is given in WPS. And talking about ASME section 9, so here in ASME section 9, there is a some range of qualification of thickness. So somebody having question that is we have to weld every for every thickness we need same WPS or different WPS? So answer is here that if we are using, suppose here we have qualified 10 WPS, then that WPS we can weld from 1.5 to 2T, that is 20 thickness. So that for every material we need not to qualify any PQR and WPS. So there is a range of WPS that we can use for welding vessels. Suppose we can use easily within a selected range from these WPS. Talking about the welder qualification, so here we are seeing that welder qualification is used to test the determinability of welder to make sound weld. So after any weld, here in figure we are seeing that welder stamp is there. So welder is marking their stamp behind the weld. So that marking is used to identify welder which joint is made by welders, and in future also if there is any problem in welding, so it can be traceable which welder have been welding, and similarly we can trace the radiography film and etc. So for welder qualification, we can qualify by the two means, that is first one is mechanical testing. So by using bend test we can qualify uh, welders as per SME section 9, and also there is volumetric and D test, that is radiography and ultrasonic testing. Similarly, we are talking about welders. So we will go through some welding positions. So talking about welding positions, there are different positions for pipe and plate. So here in plate we are seeing that for groove welding there is 1G position, 2G, 3G, and 4G positions. And if we are talking about welder qualification, when a welder is qualified in 1G, that means he have welded in 1G position, then he can weld in 1G only. Suppose in pressure vessel or pipelines he have to weld 3G position, then he cannot weld 3G position, because the range of qualification of 1G is only flat. Suppose the welder is qualified in 3G position, then he can weld 1G position and 3G position, both position. So similarly, all positions need different qualification for welder. But here, if we are talking about pipelines, pipe welding, so here we have 1G position, 2G, 5G, and 6G positions. So 6G position is most critical welding positions used by welder. So here in 6G position, it is the pipe is inclined at 45 degree, and welder is welding throughout the circumference. So by if a welder is qualified in 6G position, so he can weld all positions over here. So majorly pipelines and pressure vessels welder, they need 6G qualification, so that there will be